Lily comes when you stop to call her. Lily runs when you look away. Lily leaves kisses on your collar. Lily, 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 stay. Lily comes when you stop to call her. Lily runs when you look away. Lily leaves kisses on your collar. Lily, 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 stay. One day she passed him by, a twinkle in her eye. He said she was meant for me. But when he turned around, he lost what he had found. Oh, where can his Lily be? Lily comes when you stop to call her. Lily runs when you look away. Lily leaves kisses on your collar. Lily, 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 stay. He searched the city streets, he tempted her with treats, but nobody stopped to taste them. Somewhere in his pocket, somewhere in a locket, he couldn't bring himself to waste them. Ever since she's gone, some days he can't go on. She ruined him for another. Pressed up against the glass, he prays she's gonna pass. Now he's living with his mother. Lily comes when you stop to call her. Lily runs when you look away. Lily leaves kisses on your collar. Lily, 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 stay. Oh, Lily comes when you stop to call her. Lily runs when you look away. Lily leaves kisses on your collar. Lily, 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 stay, 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 stay. On the trumpet, Gavin Bundy.
I think we're live. Hi, Alan.
Hey, Kristen, I think we are live. How exciting.
Well, welcome everyone to Virtual Cider Summit Portland edition. And Alan has had himself a time being out in this record-breaking heat we're having, giving out the tasting kits and everything. So we're now in somewhat air-conditioned area and ready to kick this off and have some cider. So, well, I'll give just a couple instructions here. We are live everywhere. So if you drop into the comments, we will see everything. We'll try to get to everybody's questions. If it's applicable when the cider maker's on, we'll just bring it on and we can talk about it now. But if it's a general question, we're going to have some breaks. And so we're going to do some Q&A breaks, and we will be there to answer all of your questions. So did I miss anything?
If you want to say hello to us, like some of you are in the chat, that would be great. Maybe let us know where you are at. Hopefully some of you are in places that are a little bit cooler than we are here in the Northwest. Usually it's the reverse. We have the nice temperate climate up here in this corner of the country, but not today. So we'll just spend the entire time complaining about how hot it is here.
Yes, we
That's
will.
what we do in the Northwest.
I literally have a fan about 5 inches from my face and an AC unit, and I'm still hot. So, but you know what? The best thing for, heat is a little bit of cold cider. So everybody, I sure hope you have a glass in hand, and I'm going to let Alan take this away and do the toast.
I will. Thank you, Kristen. A couple quick notes for everyone. I put in the chat the tasting order for the first half of the program. I'll drop the rest of it in the chat shortly. Also want to call your attention to tasting notes, which and I'll put the link in the chat as well. But you can go to cidersummit.com and click on the Portland tab. And right at the top of that main info page, you will see the download link. I think it's a Google download link. And so it is divided into 3 sections. One side with our modern tasting kit, Art of the Apple kit, and the global artisans. And so we will we have 12 cider maker guests tonight. So we won't be tasting through quite everything on here, but most of it. And you can always keep this as a reference. So again, cidersummit.com, Portland tab, and you should see a download link right at the top of the page. We're gonna try not to take your palate on too wild a ride, but we will be kind of jumping around between the 3 kits, the modern styles, the Art of the Apple, and the global artisans. And we had to accommodate some schedules for people in various parts of the country. So we will, as I said, do our best to taste these things in some order that makes sense, but we may be giving your palate a little bit of a ride, so apologize for that. So I think that's most of the preliminary info. Every year before we open what is usually our typical festival, our outdoor events that we vaguely remember producing and will be again soon, I hope. We typically gather the cider makers over to our stage to go over, I refer to it as, I have to do the high school principal speech where I have to tell them all the rules we have, and which mostly comes down to telling them to behave themselves and not enjoy too much cider too fast. And then we gather for a toast to a successful day or a weekend of cider, and to thank all the cider makers and our media partners and the people, those of you tonight who are showing up online and at the festival, those that will be coming in person, and toast. So our first cider will be the 7 Seeds Lynn Farr. So that's what is in my glass right now. And so again, thanks to all of you for joining us tonight. I hope, and I know we will have a fun couple of hours tasting cider, learning about cider, and drinking some of it, as well. So cheers, everyone. Thanks for joining us.
Okay, that's a tasty one. My goodness.
Yeah, like that.
Hope everyone's enjoying that. That's fancy. Okay, so speaking of 7 Seeds, we have our friend Colin with us today. So let's bring him on. Hey, Colin.
How's it going, everybody? Hello.
Good to see you. Are you staying cool over there?
I'm doing my best. Yeah, got the window unit in and a little air conditioning going, and staying as cool as I possibly can.
Awesome. Cool. Well, we are going to just let you take it away.
Sounds good. Yeah, Lynn Farr. So thank you, Alan, for the wonderful toast per usual. I wish we were in person doing this like we got to a few years ago. But I mean, I guess on this really hot day, maybe not specifically today, but being together, drinking cider, that's something I really miss, and I look forward to doing it again with many of you here very soon. So I'm Colin Leishman from 7 Seeds Cider, as well as Bull Run Cider. We're located out in Forest Grove, and you guys just had the pleasure of drinking our newest 7 Seeds release, which is Lynn Farr, Lady of the Lake. 7 Seeds is something that we not a lot of people know about, because it's actually this wonderful new project from Bull Run Cider and our ownership umbrella, and we're basically focusing on bringing delightful Celtic cider concepts and old world traditional cider concepts to the new world. This cider, as you may tell from the toast and the taste that you just had, has a lot of beautiful complexity to it. This is done in the Brittany style. Imagine closing your eyes right now and taking yourself off to the wonderful worlds of France and Europe and enjoying this cider. What I love about this is old world traditional fermentation is something that we're extremely passionate about at Bull Run, as well as Seven Seeds. And focusing on the basic concepts of orcharding and the apples themselves is something that we really find that is extremely important to us. 2020, as many of us know, was a very difficult year, but it was a sobering year in many senses because it allowed us to kind of, think about what we're doing, where we're going, and how we're going to get there. And we had a lot of time to think and a lot of time to talk as a company. And one of the things that we're really trying to get back to is this old world fermentation. So with Linfar, that's what you have. Now, why Linfar? Why all this wonderful Welsh language? Well, our passion these days seems to be really orienting ourselves to the roots. So being rooted in our orchard, being rooted in our traditions, in our old world traditions. We now have a new owner at Bull Run Cider named Zane Newitt, who is actually a Arthurian historian and PhD in Arthurian history. And he actually writes an amazing series of books known as the Arthuriad, which is a series talking about Lancelot and Arthur and many of the other Gwendolyn and many of the other wonderful characters of that historical past. And Linfar is our tip of the hat to the Lady of the Lake. Something that, is just pretty cool. And we enjoy quite a bit. Now this cider, Brittany style, you might be asking, what is a Brittany style? This is basically a traditional French style made with French bittersweet apples. They're all organic apples grown down in Salem, the Salem area. They're fermented in a low, slow fermentation style. That is, it's a wonderful process known as keeving that allows us to basically keep a lot of the residual sugar in this cider without fermenting it out. And it builds and blends these wonderful complexities, these autumnal notes of ripe apple, and you get some wonderful winter spice flavor, and the bubbles just kind of put it over the top. So this is a cider that you can now find out at our tasting room. We would love to see some of you guys come out to Forest Grove. We're open every weekend and really enjoy interacting with the community. We've been kind of nestled away, tucked away in our own little, quarantine for so long that we've been really working on a lot of kind of new, fun stuff that's actually rooted in old world traditions. So we're extremely excited about it, and we would love to see you guys. I feel like things are moving in a direction where we're going to be opening up. So hopefully we'll be doing this Cider Summit in person next year, which would be amazing because there's got to be a lot more toast, a lot more cheers, and a lot more hugs and all those wonderful things.
Yeah, we have all been missing those things, haven't we?
Yeah, and, for sure.
And Alan, I mean, aren't you trying to potentially still do Seattle in person this year?
Well, you spoiled the surprise, Kristen.
Oh my God, I'm so sorry.
Yeah, so I'll talk about you. But yeah, we are hoping to be able to do our Seattle Festival September 10th and 11th. We will make an announcement in the next couple of weeks formally about that once we sort through some stuff. But let's talk about Colin's stuff. So Colin, there's two other styles. Is that it that you're doing under the Seven Seeds banner? Yeah,
so we also have a Welsh style farmhouse and then a Welsh that's a filtered cider. So that's Carreg Brutus as well as Caled Bulk, and both fantastic. I highly recommend the Seven Seeds line. I'm very blessed as not the cider maker, but as someone who absolutely adores cider. I'm so excited to be bringing this to market and being able to share this with people in the world. It's, to me, it's something very special.
To be honest, Colin was one of the very first people I really met in cider that was like I was like, oh my gosh, this guy is so passionate about cider. And you were really just championing for other cideries at that point. You had a cider distribution company, and it's really cool to see you kind of landed at Bull Run, because I love that. I love those people. I love what they're doing, the ethos, and I'm so excited to try so much more of these Seven Seeds. Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, we're excited to get you more. We're actually going to be releasing our 4th seed coming this fall. It's going to be something pretty special. We're working on some special single varietal ciders, which I think is something that is important to talk about, and the market's starting to be very accepting of is looking at the variances in single varietals and how they can be very different from orchard to orchard and region to region. Something that I'd love to geek out with a bunch of you guys sometime soon around the table with some cider.
Let's get it on the calendar.
Yes, for sure.
And we still have a few minutes. So Colin, why don't you tell people a little bit about Bull Run and maybe about your tasting room as well?
Yeah, so Bull Run Cider's been around since 2010. We have been focusing on a lot of different things recently. So we've had a lot of actual changes in the company. We have a new owner, Zane, as I mentioned earlier. We have the same fantastic cider maker in Galen Williams, who's honestly developing this craft in such a beautiful way. Our orchard has been now in the ground for 8 years, which is kind of incredible to think about for us. It's starting to really do what a good orchard that's been in the ground for 8 years should do, which is produce quality fruit. And we're getting very excited about the outlook for this fall and what we're going to have available to press and get ready for our estate releases. We've been developing our tasting room, and we're actually working on some fun, new, exciting stuff for the future. We had a few hiccups recently, but it'll all work out the way it's supposed to work out. But we're looking forward in our current tasting room to bringing you guys our Bull Run and 7 Seed cider. We'd love to see you. We're out in Forest Grove on Cedar Street, right next to Pacific University. In case you don't know it, Forest Grove is an incredible fermentation region. Not only do we have Bull Run cider there, but in 7 Seeds, but we also have David Hill Winery and Sake One, one of the best sake places outside of Japan. And we have lots of breweries like Ridge Walker Brewing and Kaiser and Waltz as well. And we're open every Thursday, Friday, Saturday, 2 to 6:30. We pour a variety of different ciders, and we always do our best to entertain and keep you guys informed on the next movement in cider, kind of what's going on and how we feel about it. And we really like to share that wisdom with you guys and taste and just drink cider together. That's something that having the tasting room has been really nice because we've had a lot of regulars and a lot of guests come on a regular basis, and it's been nice to kind of keep the conversation going.
Terrific. If anyone out there has any questions for Colin, we have another minute or two with him allocated, and you can drop them in the chat there, and we will respond to them live. And it is. Yeah, that's the first time I'm having this cider, Colin. I'm really enjoying it, and I am a huge fan of Galen's work and Kevin's work at Easy Orchards. For those of you in the kit, it's the Easy Orchards Hawk House is in the Art of the Apple tasting kit, and Kevin's work with Keeving and is just I think his I think it was 2009 maybe tasted Cider for the first time, and to me that was kind of the best Northwest cider I had tasted at that point.
I had the pleasure of drinking the 2009 Cider with Kevin a few times, and especially back in the day when Bushwhackers was open, Kevin did a few events there, and it absolutely blows me away. Kevin's, in my opinion, one of the greatest cider makers around. I mean, definitely in the Pacific Northwest and not the country, and to be able to work with him and to have these orchards in Oregon that are rooted in family, like Kevin's is it's really incredible, and it's definitely nice to see some of the quality fruit that he's been growing for decades being translated into such a fine product. It's incredible.
So, question is, could you repeat days and hours of the tasting room, Colin?
Yeah, come and see me every Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, 2 to 6:30 p.m. And we update our hours often on Facebook and Google. So actually, I just hired somebody, and I'm very excited about that, to have some support and help out at the tasting room. And we actually are planning to extend those hours. We haven't officially decided how, but there's a decent chance there will be a little bit later closing, and we might add another day or two, possibly Sunday. Fingers crossed. We're going to work that out in the next week or so, but we'll be making announcements soon. But Thursday through Saturday, 2 to 6:30, that's guaranteed, unless it's above 100 degrees.
And people can follow you at Bull Run, or is there also a 7 Seeds page?
Yeah, so 7 Seeds, it's actually the number 7 and then Cider, which is the Welsh for spelling for cider, so SEIDR. And you can connect to it through the bullruncider.com as well.
Okay, terrific. Well, thank you so much, Colin. Always great to have you guys as part of these, and always
cheers
good
to
to
you
see you.
guys.
And thanks for all the help you do and support with the events on and on.
You're
Thank
awesome,
you so much.
Colin.
Good to
Thank
see you. Thank you so much, Kristen. I look forward. There's a lot of people that are about to come on after me that I love and respect, and we're not doing the normal the Zoom chat like we used to. I really like this format, but I want to just say thank you to all the cider makers. You guys are awesome. It's hard working in this hot heat. It's hard pressing fruit. It's hard getting out there in the orchard and do what you guys do. Much love. Keep up the good work to all of you. Seriously, much respect.
Thanks.
Awesome.
Cheers,
Thank
Colin.
you, Colin. Okay, so actually Debbie is asking where to download the tasting notes. I believe that we put them in the comments, but maybe you could drop that in there one more time just in case.
Yeah, it's one of those long Google links, but I'll drop it in there again. Yeah.
Okay, so we'll get you guys going on that. And it looks like Ryan is about to join us here from New West. Also, I do want to ask them about the Sasquatch Brewing. I think that they're together,
Yep.
at some point. But anyway, let's bring them on. Hey, Ryan.
There he is. Hey, Ryan.
Hey, how's it going?
We're doing good. How are things at your household?
Hot, and I keep tripping the breakers with all the little AC units I got going. So
we promised that everyone that signed in would complain about the heat. So you got to suffer.
yeah.
I mean, we're Northwestern. We're from the Northwest. We are not used to it getting above like 85. So 85, sweltering. So we're just literally melting. But it's wonderful.
I'll do it in August. I don't like it in June.
Yeah, totally. Ryan, I do have a question for you to kind of get started because you guys are part of Sasquatch Brewing, right?
Correct.
Okay, so Sasquatch Brewing was the original, like obviously making beer, and then the New West is a an extension of Sasquatch.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
So does New West have its own tasting room?
No, it's all combined.
Okay.
Yeah. So the Sasquatch Brew Pub, that's where we serve all of the New West ciders, and then hopefully pretty soon we'll be reopening the brewery tasting room where we'll have more of our ciders on draft there.
Awesome. Cool. All right. Well, we're going to let you take it from here.
Yeah. Thanks everybody for joining us. My name's Ryan. I am the head brewer and cider maker over at Sasquatch in New West. We were founded back in 2010 and we started making beer. About 2 years into what we were doing, cider started getting pretty popular, and we had an opportunity to get a winery license. And so we started making cider in our little 7-barrel brew house over in Hillsdale. In 2017, we moved to the industrial area of Northwest and started really focusing on production cider and packaging cider as well, rather than just draft. Now we have 3 different house ciders in both 16-ounce and 12-ounce format. And then we're currently doing rotating 16-ounce formats of cider and 12-ounce formats of cider. And those are all seasonal. So the pina colada that you guys are drinking is our summer seasonal. We try to keep it low in ABV, lots of flavor, just so that it's crushable, it's refreshing, and it's something that you can drink when it's 110 degrees outside in the middle of June, all the way through early September when we're getting back to school, and it just kind of fills that summer gap for us. When we make cider, we obviously making beer, it's a whole different beast. And we have so many more ingredients to play with that when we try to make our ciders, we try to bring some of that beer aspect into what we make, that kind of creativity that you see in the beer market so much of, whether it's flavor combinations, unique ingredients, or just kind of fun, kind of eclectic packaging formats. And so Pina Colada was one of the first ones that we took our beer style and applied it to the cider. So pineapple and coconut, relatively simple, but it gets the point across, and we got a little pina colada in a can right here.
We have a couple questions. Just one, where is the brew pub at?
Our brew pub is in Hillsdale, which is Southwest Portland, right off Capitol Highway and Barber Boulevard.
Also, this lovely person said, this is like drinking a fancy cocktail. No need to add anything else. Very tasty.
That's what we were going for. I like drinking pina coladas when it's hot out. And so when we wanted to make it a summer seasonal, I said, I want to drink pina coladas in the summertime. And so here we are making pina coladas.
They also said, go Timbers. So there you go.
Yeah. Not interested in going to that game tonight.
Yeah.
So I'll watch from the house.
Totally. Okay. I'll do you want me to let you just go? No, I mean, not go away. I was just saying, do you want us to have a conversation, or do you want
with you?
Yeah, gone with you. You're gone.
Get out of here.
And do you want to take it over, or do you just, did you want to have a conversation? Okay.
That's all I got, Alan.
All right. How about telling us a little bit about the rest of the cider lineup, and because you've had 2 or 3 that have been out there a little bit longer that are maybe more signature items for you.
Yeah. So our more signature items are we tried to get a good little variety. So we've got 3 different signature ciders. One is just our dry cider, which is called Faith, and then our mixed berry cider is called True Love. That's got blackberries and blueberries. And then lastly is Squeeze, which is our raspberry lemonade cider. It's our lowest ABV cider. And it's definitely our tartest, probably our sweetest cider, but overall relatively balanced. We tried to make sure that all of our ciders kind of hit a very specific niche. So with Faith, we try to keep it as dry as possible. All of our ciders are fermented to 0. And Faith, we just let it be what it is. And we package that dry cider right out of the fermenter. When we do our tastings against other dry ciders, I just find myself saying like, whoa, those are so sweet. And so with the Faith, we just wanted to let the cider shine, get that kind of champagne approach to cider. And then the other 2, we wanted to pay homage to the wonderful fruits and berries that we have around here in the Northwest. So raspberries, blackberries, and blueberries kind of all make sense.
And so a question about where people can buy your ciders. I'm not in the tasting room, so let's start, I guess, more locally in Oregon, and then I also was going to ask you if you are distributing outside of kind of Portland Metro.
Yeah, so we're self-distributed. We're in Oregon, we have the luxury of distributing our own product around. So all of our ciders can be found in Market of Choice, New West, or New Seasons, excuse me. I think we're in grocery outlets now, Whole Foods, and then all of the bottle shops around town. Belmont Station has our ciders as well. And then hopefully a couple other bigger chain stores here pretty soon. And then if anybody's up in Washington, Total Wine does a lot of product for us. So we're in a few of the Total Wines and working on the rest of them up there in Seattle. But we have, we're starting to make our footprint in the Seattle area and kind of continuing to grow that market as well.
Terrific. All
Yeah.
right. We'll take a moment and see if anyone else has any other questions out. What about California? Have you gone into that market yet?
Not yet. We're talking to a couple of distributors down there, but we're trying to be cautiously optimistic that we can make it happen. But we have our production facility is relatively small. It's about 4,000 square feet, and we have about 900 square feet for cider production, and not really any more room in there to add production space, unfortunately. So we got to make sure that the Portland market, and as we grow Seattle, that we really have product for those places at all. But hopefully sometime next summer we'll be down in California.
Terrific.
We miss you too.
Absolutely. All right, and quick, because I'm an old beer guy. What's the signature beer or two from the Sasquatch side of things?
Signature beer. If you haven't had a chance to drink Mouth Pillow, that's our go-to. That's like far and away opposite of all of the ciders that we make. Thick, creamy, lactose, heavily dry hopped, as far away from the cider world as you can get. And then
Wild.
Yeah, and then free couch is the other one. That's probably the one that I'm most proud of. It's just a really great hazy. We kind of showcase some of the old school classic hops while kind of bringing in that new age hazy approach to it. So
Awesome.
Terrific. Anything else from your side, Kristen?
Not that I'm seeing. I think people are just tasting this awesome cider. By the way, great packaging. This really makes me feel like I'm on vacation. Like I'm in Seattle and it's 100 degrees.
Yeah. I don't get to make many of our labels, but this is one that I was kind of just playing around with on the computer, and everybody was like, "Oh, hey, that's great! Like that should be our pina colada label." And so I got lucky with this one. Yeah.
Fun.
Well, congratulations, Mr. Designer.
Thank you. I know. I won't let it go to my head.
Thank you, Ryan. We'll let Kristen wave you off now.
Awesome. Thanks, guys.
Be gone.
I'll go now.
No, seriously, Ryan, it was great to have you on. So
thank you.
Thanks, Ryan. Have a good evening.
Okay. Well, up next, we have Allie, who just happens to be sipping cider next to the Columbia River, or maybe even on the Columbia River. So let's bring Allie on.
Oh, man, are we jealous? Look at this. Man.
Wait, Allie, you have to unmute. Unmute. There you go.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
All right. I decided to do my broadcast from the Columbia River on a floaty because it's 107 degrees in Portland, so why not?
Good for you.
Thanks, everyone.
Yeah, so fantastic. I think we're all jealous of you kind of being on the river there. Is it? Oh, man. Have you been out there all afternoon?
Well, I went to open the tap room and realized the patio itself was, I think, about 110 degrees. Because we have mainly outdoor seating, and it was so hot that just didn't seem worth it. So we thought we'd move the party to the beach and the river and still talk about cider and still say hello to everybody and enjoy Cider Summit, which we all really wish we were hanging out in the park like in years past. We do miss everyone, Alan, Kristen, all you guys, all the cider makers, all the other brand friends. That's what we miss the most via COVID. So we're just adapting as we go. But here we are from the river because it's going to be 100 plus for several days in Portland.
Good for you. So for the people that aren't so familiar with Swift, tell us the Swift story and let us know a little bit about the pomegranate that's in the kit.
Yeah. So we love Swift. I've been a part of Swift for going on 5 years now. Aiden Curry is the actual founder. He's a wonderful person who is on a much deserved vacation at the moment. But we are a Portland-based cidery located up in Northeast off of Farragut Street. making semi-dry to dry fruit-forward ciders, having a good time, trying to keep it craft focused, and doing all the right things with the fruit, highlighting local fruits, local ingredients, and having a good time drinking cider. We have a chill little tap room that is open Wednesday through Saturday in non-105 degree plus days. Usually 5 to 9 on Wednesdays. We have a fun little trivia night going from 6 to 9, which has turned into a really cool thing. We got a food truck and some local trivia guys, Untapped Trivia running that. And otherwise, we're doing Thursday through Saturday from 3 to 9 for the tasting rooms. You can come down and get pints, slices, to-go cases, mixed 4-pack, all the things. So we're hanging out, trying to make it work. It's been definitely an interesting year and a half, but we've actually seen our couple biggest months of sales last 2 months, which after coming off a rough year felt pretty good. So we're just trying to make good cider and make sure people have a good time in general is our goal. So we're happy to answer any questions.
Speaking of good times, okay, let's talk about the cocktail-inspired ciders that you guys are making. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, that's a series we are very proud of. So in general, for those that don't know about Swift, we have 3 year-round ciders. Our Honeycrisp, Marionberry, and Pineapple Hot, that's kind of what brought us to market and have kept us going. We have 2 quarterly rotating series. One's a fruit rotator, a palm raspberry, blood orange line, and then our upside down cocktail inspired series, which Kristen just mentioned, is the one that we're kind of most excited about and our most unique as far as the flavor profiles, the ingredients, the recipes, as well as the artwork. So in that, we all went in through COVID times. We're like, all right, what's popular? Cider, beer, cocktails, everything. What's craft? What do craft people want? So we kind of connected the 2 worlds. And I came from a bartending background before I entered the cider world. And Aiden, myself, and our old cider maker, Mark, shout out to Mark. I don't know if he's on here. We were drinking hash fruit margaritas, to be 100% honest, up at Latalk, little cool tequila bar in Portland. We were like, we need to do something different, something cocktail inspired. So the first one to come out of it was called Tropic Haze. Hash fruit, mango, margarita, Himalayan salt. And we decided let's pick one cocktail that we love per quarter to highlight and pick a cider recipe that works with it. So far we've done that tropical margarita and the raspberry Collins. We're kind of in the transition of those 2 right now. We have a cool, I won't quite release the official name and recipe yet, but a fun daiquiri related cocktail coming up for August. So we're just trying to connect several drinking worlds, cocktail, beer drinkers, cider drinkers, so we can all continue to grow.
Allie, I absolutely love this because you have one of the best connections we've had and you are literally on the river. And just a fun fact, there is an island there named Ackerman Island after my family. Right in front of
I feel like we need to go to this island.
Yeah, so yeah, it's government owned, but we've just lived there forever. So they're like, gosh, that family's old. Let's give them something. So we got an island.
Well, sounds awesome.
Okay, we have a couple questions here.
Give them to me.
What was the 3rd regular cider that you had mentioned?
I believe Pineapple Hot.
And
of our 3 would have been Pineapple Hot.
That is one of my very, very favorite ciders of all times. It's really hard to do a good hopped cider, and even pineapple sometimes is just very off, flavor in cider sometimes. And you guys just meld them. You have to get that, you guys, because it is one of the best in our competition every year. It kills it. So.
Thank you. That means a lot because I'm not a big pineapple beverage drinker. Not just due to Swift, not due to anybody for any reason. I don't love pineapple beverages, but the hot profile to get a little bit of bitter, little citrusy, it works so well. So
it's so good.
We're very proud of that one.
Also, Kimberly just wants to tell you have a real nice floaty. And it is a nice floaty. My goodness.
I gotta give some love to my boat friends on this. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, that's awesome. Okay, the floaty. Okay. So I do have a question that's not actually for you, but I do want to answer it real quick. It's from Jessica. This will be viewable later on both Cider Summit's Facebook page, Cidercraft's Facebook page, or Cidercraft's YouTube channel. So this will all be available for you in case you miss anything. So.
Hey, Ellie, did we actually? Did you talk about the pomegranate at all? Did I miss it?
Oh yeah, back to the pomegranate in the case.
That's what people have. That's right.
The pomegranate is delicious. I had a few on my river excursion. A few people stole them, but it is our fruit quarterly rotator series. So like I was talking with Kristen about our upside down cocktail series. We also do a fruit rotator series where 3 times a year we pick what's seasonal, what's great, what can we mix our core lineup of the 3 honey crisp, marionberry, and pineapple hop with to give a little bit of diversity. So pomegranate is the current fruit rotator from Swift. We love it. Semi-dry, fruit forward cider that's perfect for like hot day drinking. It in no means can be classified as a rosé cider, but it almost reminds me if I'm, hot, drinking something outside, it's a nice little rosé cocktail cider. So we rotate that same UPC or same SKU through pomegranate, raspberry, and blood orange throughout the year, but pomegranates are fitting, and that is one of the very few fruits we get from California. We try to keep everything as much as we can Oregon and Washington focused. That is really important to us, and hyper local is important, but there's a few things that grow better in particular areas. Pomegranates are one of them from Northern California. So we love this cider. I would say across the board it is definitely a staff favorite. So we hope you're all enjoying it. Semi-dry, light and fruit, delicious on a hot day.
It sounds delicious. I don't have that in my cup right this second, but I will have it very soon, probably tomorrow on the boat, because I'm going boating tomorrow.
Thanks for boating.
So I will say another benefit of going to the tap room is you can get some cool experimental stuff. So this one is Heirloom Batch 2 Libret. And so there's a handful of things like that you can't get anywhere else, right, Allie?
Yeah, we would love to have you all down to the tap room when it's not 110 degrees. We are open Wednesday through Saturday. We have a ton of cool one-off stuff on draft. We can a little bit of it just to keep enough for people visiting the tap room if there's anything that you love. We run 12 cider taps. All of them are usually our own. We try to run like one guest cider tap that's rotating at a time just to support our friends. So we've had Bauman's and Van and Rain and Wildcraft and a few other various things, and we need to get the rest of y'all on these taps too. We like to rotate in. We'd like to show some new things there. We also have, cider focus, but we always offer a few beers, kombucha, hard water keeper, regular water keeper, all the things. So we have some cool stuff at the tap room. Come check us out if you're in Portland Wednesday through Saturday.
And I want to know what your name is. Is it Lane? Because you're so engaging with us. I just love you. The tap room is in downtown Portland, right?
It's not quite downtown. It is in northeast Portland.
Okay.
So on the east side of the river, not too far from the I-5 bridge, to be honest. And it's almost North Portland.
Okay.
The closest main intersection would be Lombard and Vancouver or Columbia and Vancouver. So I can screenshot a little map, but we're in North Portland, easy to get to from Vancouver or anywhere in Portland.
Great.
And we love talking about cider when people visit.
You're a good time. I want to come and visit you very soon. So
please do, Kristen. I'd love to see you.
Thanks, Allie. Have a great night on the river. We're all jealous.
Totally.
But have fun.
Enjoy, and thank you so much for taking time to join us. And you do have the coolest background, so you win. All right, we'll see you later. Bye-bye.
Thanks, Allie.
Oh, that's fun. I mean, I can't believe what great reception she had out there. That's just amazing.
Yeah, if it was fake, it was a really good job.
I know. I mean, honestly, if I would have known that I could have done this from a floaty, I probably would have, but my laptop just probably wouldn't have liked it as much. So,
right. Well, we can always, dare to dream. Maybe next time.
Absolutely.
We'll see. But it's time to move on to our first import of the night, right? Or our global artisans kit, I should say.
One of our very favorites, James Asbell. Let's bring him on. Oh, and there we go. Hey,
Jim.
James. You're muted.
I need to unmute.
Sorry.
We don't want to miss a single word.
Hi.
Hi there.
Hey,
It's, Jim and his lovely wife, Holly, just moved to the East Coast from Portland, and they had been consistent and fantastic helpers when we have our drive-through pickup events in Portland. And the last one we did together, I think, was about 40 and rainy and miserable. But you picked good time to leave because it would have been because it was 105 and miserable. So that's
my daughter still is in Portland. Yeah, we're hearing about it.
I would imagine so. So I am. So Jim has a really is an interesting company called Ciders of Spain that is primarily an importer of some wonderful cider from different regions of Spain. But the product that is in our kit, which I always do this incorrectly, the Chai and Dry, is really a completely different take and unique product for you, right? So tell us a little bit about how this all came about and kind of the net result that's in the can.
Sure. Well, to back up a little bit, I remember when I started importing in 2012, and when I first started out, and I was looking at the U.S. market, it was just nascent as well, but a range of ciders, and there was a lot of discussion about this new revived industry and what was the right packaging and stuff. And somebody could quote me if they wanted to, saying, "I'll never put a Spanish Sidra in a can." Well, now for a couple of years we've been doing that, and as I've been getting more and more confidence really with the product and my relationship with the producers and into deeper friendships with them, I've learned that they really like seeing where their products can go in another culture, and I've been getting a bit bolder with flavors rather than at first we just did the traditional Cidra, the 2,000-plus-year-old way of spontaneous yeast fermentation. We selected producers who were not only doing that in fourth-generation cideries, but were also beginning to create second fermentation, natural sparkling, Méthode Champenois brutes, ice ciders and things, so that we could have a diverse portfolio for the U.S. market. And as we started canning, we started bringing products in bulk. And as we started having products in bulk, we started to sell to some American cider makers who wanted to work with blending, one of them being Ron Sansone of Spoke and Spy in Middletown, Connecticut. And I'm a Connecticut boy, and I get back there sometimes. And I was talking to Ron Sansone about some of the things that he was doing, and I mentioned to him that behind the scenes, even when I was in my purist stage, at home, I do a lot of blending because I have a lot of cider around, and I play with it. And sometimes I want a tea, and sometimes I want a cider. And I had been drinking for quite some time a tea cider blend, a home concoction that I really like, but I almost never told anybody I did it because people impose more restrictions on me as a importer of something with old tradition, and are sometimes less accepting. I do get criticism sometimes for things that vary from the old standard, But I'm past worrying about that now. So probably our biggest departure so far is the chai tea traditional Sidra by Cider Riestra, cider maker Raul Riestra in Sarajevo. We've been importing his product in bulk and canning it as Good Clean Funk. We have two others, but this is the one that is essentially a traditional Sidra Natural in a can. And I can't hold up a can of Good Clean. I can't hold up a can of chai and dry because we had people over and they drank it all up. So I'm showing you what 66% of what's in that can is the Good Clean Funk. And then the rest is this marvelous chai tea blend by the tea guys in my new region in the Connecticut Valley in Whately, Mass. Oliver Rich is the importer, master blender. And so you're familiar with the traditional Sidra, most of you out there, but specifically I'm going to tell you what we've got in this unique chai blend. I'll have to put on my glasses for that. We've got black tea, ginger, cardamom, cloves, extracts and essential oils, pepper, star anise, vanilla, sea salt, and citric acid. One of the things I don't see mentioned here that is special to our blend, because working with, not quite sure why I went dark here. Am I dark on your screen?
It went a little darker, but you're okay, Jim. We can see
cool. You. My screen's kind of screwed up now, but that doesn't matter. At any rate, working with Oliver and Ron, we've got cider makers, we've got cider importer, and we have tea importer. And so what he brings to the table is when we're doing blending sessions, and we have blended several products that will be coming into the market during the next few months, is on the tea side, we have somebody who will modify what he has for best fit with the blend we're doing with the Sidra. So we have a special blend here of his chai, which also has, he had been using dried apples from Pine Hill Orchard, which is a notable heirloom orchard, cider orchard here in the Connecticut Valley in Massachusetts. And what we have in ours is we make a concentrate from the tea, and so we're actually putting in unfermented cider juice blend from Pine Hill Orchards. So there's really, this is probably about the most complicated team that has worked on our ciders, and probably the most complex and unique of our ciders. For those of you tasting it, which I can't do right now because my friends drank it all up. For those of you tasting it, of course, you'll catch the clear holiday spirit of it. It was supposed to be out at Christmas time, but COVID, So
things happen. So we only have a couple of minutes left, Jim. So what is your website that people can go to get more information about this? Is
cidersofspain.com.
And so this product has very recently been released, correct?
Right.
So
our first shipments were taken in California about 6 weeks ago, and about 2 weeks ago in Seattle, and we have yet to make a delivery to Portland.
And so you anticipate this will be available in roughly how many states?
5 states. So
okay.
we'll have it in up and down the West Coast, Massachusetts, and New York. So that's 5 states right there. One last shameless plug here. So I was at an event yesterday, just a little plug for New England, because I hope you'll keep us in the loop here, even though we want to stay with you guys here on the West Coast Cider Summits. I picked up this can yesterday at an event by a Maine producer called Urban Farm Fermentory, and they do all wild yeast fermentations. And this is a wild yeast cider fermented on seaweed.
Wow.
And it's cool. It's really, really good. So if somehow you can get your hands on that one, I would say you'd have a unique New England experience.
New frontiers always. Well, We missed you today, Jim, standing in the sweltering parking lot and moving boxes around and all that. But I thank you for the many times you helped us out, and
Yeah, well,
glad we were able to bring this unique product to
look forward to being back in Seattle, and next time in San Francisco, and on and on.
Exactly.
And, it's great to be here, and I really appreciate your support.
Thank you, Jim. Cheers, my friend. Good to see you.
Jim, it was good to see you. Okay. Rockin' and rollin'. We're a couple ciders in, or are you guys a couple ciders in? What do you have friends with you guys tasting some of these ciders so you can get through them? Tell us what you're loving. And by the way, that cider on seaweed sounds absolutely insane, but I know Urban Farm Fermentory and they're amazing. And I'm sure I kind of feel like I need to get my hands on some of that now because I am curious.
I bet they will send you some if you ask, Kristen, the mega cider media maven and celebrity that you are.
Oh yes, such a celebrity. Cool. Well, we have one of our favorites too. I mean, all these people are our favorites because these are all just solid, awesome people in the cider community, all really great personalities, and all of these people really do a very different style, which is so cool. And that's what we're seeing in the cider kit is just the the variety of how cider can be made. So it's pretty fun. So let's go ahead and bring on, let me find him here. Oh, there he is. Sean, what up?
Where he belongs, in his barrel room. Perfect at the cidery. And
it's 15 degrees cooler in here at least,
At least.
Nice.
Yeah. Good to see your guys' faces. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, we're doing great, and we're anxious to hear about this product, the Rome Blush.
Rome Blush. Yeah. Thank you for bringing me on. We had we did our tea camp this morning, first day at tea camp. For those that don't know about Wildcraft, we are a community organization that focuses on educating natural fermentation of wild plants, wild fruits, and also, some of the lesser known orchardized offerings that come from our valley. But yeah, we do non-alcoholic products as well. But so it was a hot morning. So I'm coming in here, chilling out. A cold Rome Blush on a day like this is just beautiful. So Rome Blush. Rome Beauty is an apple. The history of this apple, we do a lot of varieties each year. I mean, it's hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of varieties that were planted out in the valley here over the course of time. The Rome Beauty originated, the story goes, it was first grafted off a seedling in Ohio back in the early 1800s and started to be planted here as a multi-purpose apple, mainly sauce, but also juice and cider back in like the mid 1900s, kind of like an heirloom phase where somehow people that were steading out west got a hold of this graft. And it's a real soft fruit. It's difficult to press, a lot of pectin. It has a lot of turbidity, which means it's real thick as a juice. It's sweet, doesn't have a lot to offer, which is typically a fruit that we would blend into the rest of more of the high tannin or wild seeded stuff that we do. But to highlight it, it's really soft. It's really easy and gentle, almost too simple, I really believe, is a single varietal. Each year when we do a refresh of our barrel room, we borrow a steamer from King Estate Winery, which is pretty well-known Willamette Valley vineyard. They're national, but they're cool. They also have a little small Mirabelle plum orchard on their property that we harvest occasionally some years. So they do these small lot Pinot Noirs, and talking with the winemaker one day, I really felt like the Rome Beauty apple would benefit from some tannin and some acidity from Pinot. So for a few years, we did this as sort of a draft option, just a couple barrel experiment out of their small reserves. And it became a really popular and well-balanced cider. So I decided to continue and like, all right, let's really dedicate all these Rome Beauty apples into this pot, and we'll do this 8-barrel limited series out of the barrel room. So these barrels come from us from King Estate, freshly emptied, still leaves slushing around. And that finished cider is racked in that barrel and aged out for another 18 months. And what that does is really help round and balance out the single varietal Rome apple. It takes it from soft to having a little bit more balance and having a little more acidity and having some nice tannins, you know, without, I guess, affecting it in other means. You know, we're a natural fermentation process always, all across the board. So, and we also are only really harvesting. What I like about the program with King Estate is that we also get to reuse those barrels over the course of time. So it's a nice sustainable partnership to create something that highlights the apple, but also gives a really well-balanced beverage. Y'all still there? Did I lose you?
Yeah, you're
There we
like,
go. No,
you're like where are they? Where'd they go? We got some questions for you. Don't worry, Sean. So Elaine, who is like now my absolute favorite human being on this whole cider summit. Come on, talk to us, people. Which vineyard are you attached to? Well,
we are not attached. We are not attached to a vineyard. To Wildcraft is to sustainably harvest from the wild. We do about 360 to 400 private properties each year. Some public lands harvesting wild fruit, harvesting some orchardized fruit that's gone feral. And yeah, actually a lot of people, because I make wine on the side, but a lot of people have asked me to produce wine, like vintage wine labels. But I really believe that there's already such a prowess in our valley of tearing out old apple trees and planting new vineyards that I would rather preserve sort of what's going on with our program here. I think it's unique. It's very community based. It's very educational. It's very storytelling. So not attached to a vineyard, good relationships with winemakers, but not attached to a vineyard.
Love that. I was hoping that Mama Wildcraft would make an appearance, Roseanne, because I just love her to pieces. With Roseanne.
My boys have been out playing in the river all day. They need to chill.
Seriously, that's so awesome.
Grandma's taking care of the kids for a little while. So
that's so great.
Yeah. Hey, Sean, people are always curious, you know, about where they can buy. So are there, you know, a few of the grocery stores or bottle shops that carry a good selection of your guys' stuff?
Yeah, I mean, just stay with the health food markets seem to be really strong on our side. It's really not part of our program to go larger distribution. We form relationships and connections with people nationally that will bring in small lots, and we end up in more of the specialty markets. So if you're in Portland, I mean, a good selection is like John's Marketplace, you know, or Belmont Station, you know, some of those more craft beverage locations. But Zupan's has always been supportive of us. New Seasons gets taken over by Seltzer and Craft Cocktails. So, you know, they always support us, but it's like it's a small shelf now. It's, you know, 3 to 4 selections rather than a bigger array of what we can offer.
But I think markets of choice.
On the website, we ship to 17 states, so you can buy direct from the cidery, and we can box it up, send it right to you. I'm not going to rattle out the 17 states because that's just too much brain power.
Check the website, and I'm sure that it shows which states you currently ship to. So we'll do a little work on the back end for sure.
But, you know, this is a barrel room series. This is part of, you know, just small batch. We've got about 350 to 400 barrels in inventory is about our scale for barrel aged. But, you know, most Wildcraft products have some sort of barrel aging because we're a seasonal company. We naturally ferment only in season. So we're not purchasing apples or shipping them in from anywhere else. We're doing the harvest work. It's a community effort. It's a traditional community effort to go harvest apples. So when you have fluxes like COVID was really interesting for us, given that we're normally bulking up cider for festivals. You know, we supply a lot of arts programs. We supply festivals, very supportive of music, art. We have a music venue here. It's kind of part of our integration and interaction with community sources. So, you know, we have 40,000 extra gallons, you know, in keg shells. And, you know, here I built a stage out of keg shells, and we're now offering concerts on top of keg shells. And we got to get our ass back to work this year.
Yes,
We did drink all of our cider in bottles last year, so, you know, got to get back out. But typically,
Absolutely, we encourage people to check out Wildcraft's website, and it's a really unique brand and just a really imaginative range. And Sean's a very creative cider maker, and it's always great to have you guys as part of these kits.
And just some great humans.
So yes, so thank you for taking the time out and away from your kids, and you can either chill in your barrel room for a while or relieve, you know, mom. Who knows?
Go to the river. Go to the
we're
river.
setting up actually for a music video. I got a collaboration with a group that hasn't made an album in 10 years, and we've got a collaborative Method Champenoise coming out for an album release. And we're shooting a music video in the venue. So tonight we're going to be setting that up. I got to get fans, and it's going to be very hot. But
get to it. We are we're heading into our halftime music break, and we're gonna one of the songs
Martini,
is,
right?
So a couple Big Martini things. One is going to be in Spanish.
Yeah.
And the second one we selected is to kind of testament to you guys. It's about a guy, but the song is called "Hey Eugene." You're Eugene based, so we're gonna roll into that in just a minute.
We love our music out here. Hey, good to see your faces, Kristen.
So good to see you, Sean.
Oh yeah,
thanks, Sean.
Hopefully, CiderCon.
Are we gonna get it right? We're gonna get it.
Yeah.
All right.
Thanks, Sean. Have a good evening.
Oh, that's fun. He's always a good time.
Sean's a unique character in our biz. So as I mentioned, we're going to roll into a couple of songs there, but I think around 3 minutes each or something. So if you need to stretch your legs or a little bathroom break or something like that, now's a good time. But they're two of my favorite Pink Martini songs as well.
Also, if you have any questions during this time, drop them in there, and we will do a little quick Q&A once we get back from listening to some good tunes here. So.
And we'll be starting next with the Bloom will be our next cider from Anthem and Wandering Angus, and then Bauman's will be the next one after that, and we'll drop that in the comments again so it's fresh for everyone.
All right.
All right. Go to it. Enjoy the music.
Shortly.
¿Dónde estás, Yolanda? ¿Qué pasó, Yolanda? Te busqué, Yolanda. Y no estás, Yolanda. ¿Dónde estás, Yolanda? ¿Qué pasó, Yolanda? Te busqué, Yolanda. Y no estás, Yolanda. Tus ojos miraron, tus labios besaron, con ese fuego ardiente de mujer. La luz de tu mirada, al fuego de tus labios, me echaron a mi pecho y de ti me enamoré. ¿Dónde estás, Yolanda? ¿Qué pasó, Yolanda? Te busqué, Yolanda. Y no estás, Yolanda. ¿Dónde estás, Yolanda? ¿Qué pasó, Yolanda? Te busqué, Yolanda. Y no estás, Yolanda. demasiado en un carriola, luego la tierra y yo necesitaba y se encontraban, no sé qué se va a hacer, no sé, me vuelvo loco y ya no te vuelvo a ver. ¿Dónde estás, Yolanda? ¿Qué pasó, Yolanda? Te busqué, Yolanda. ¿Dónde estás, Yolanda? ¿Dónde estás, Yolanda? ¿Qué pasó, Yolanda? Te busqué, Yolanda. Y no estás, Yolanda.
This song is about a boy who asked for my number at a party, and then he never called. So I wrote this song for him. Feel free to sing along. Hey Eugene, do you remember me? I'm that chick you danced with 2 times through the Rufus album Friday night at that party on Avenue A, where your skinhead friend passed out for several hours on the bathroom floor, and you told me you weren't that drunk and that I was your favorite salsa dancer you had ever come across in New York City. Eugene, I said hello. Eugene, are you there, Eugene? Hey Eugene, then we kissed. Once we lugged your friend into the elevator and went to write my number on a soggy paper towel, and the car went down. And when we were finished making out, we noticed that your skinhead friend was gone, long gone. And you looked into my bloodshot eyes and said, is it too soon if I call you Sunday? Eugene, Eugene, Eugene. I said hello, Eugene. Are you there, Eugene? Hey, hey. Does any of this ring a bell, Eugene? China Force.
Oh, I guess I should have my cam started then.
I guess, and I should have turned off my mic. I was rocking out to Think Martini, and then I realized that was not muted.
Oh, nice. Did you get? I didn't hear you, but were you jamming? Were you singing?
Oh, Ezekiel mentioned that he heard my vocals. So
I love it. That is amazing. We didn't know we were getting live entertainment in addition to these performances, so that's pretty cool.
I think I'll stick to my day job in all likelihood.
Yeah.
But I want to respond to the question on there from Christopher about asked how the kits were curated.
Yeah, for some reason the comments aren't loading into here, so I'm going to try to.
I'm
There
seeing
we
it.
go. Oh, okay. There we go. Never mind. Great.
Okay.
Yeah, that was great. That was awesome. I wish I would have heard that. I was having some snacks.
I'll call and sing to you sometime, Kristen.
I love it. Please do. Well, while we're kind of doing this little break right now, does anybody have any questions or, anything that we can answer? Oh, you did see the general question about how the kits were curated?
Yeah, so I thought maybe we'll tackle that before we dive back in. So it starts with kind of determining how many different styles of kits we want to do. Sometimes we have done import kits. Sometimes we have done kind of like Pamo and dessert cider kits. And then typically we have always done something that features modern styles, right? More of the canned flavored kind of things. And something that is more like the Wildcraft, the Linfar, the Bauman's Macintosh we're going to get to next, which are more a little bit more artisanal in style and are focused more on apples themselves as opposed to additions of other flavors. And so really during, we've missed since COVID shut down, which it's, I think, is 6 events we were unable to produce that we normally would have. We have generally worked with cider makers that we have the closest relationships with in terms of the festival that have been great partners to work with, have been with us for many, many years, like our next cider maker. And so we wanted to in turn support them as our highest priority. So I work with each of the cider makers effectively that I've selected to then see what's available, maybe some things that aren't as widely distributed in the market, and things that we think would just create a nice assortment in each kit. So, there's no real exact science to it, but in short, it's about relationships and it's about products we think would be interesting to people out there. And hopefully, hopefully more often than not, we get it right. So thanks for the question. It's a good one. Hopefully I answered it for you. You're muted, Kristen.
There we go. It's very hard to unmute me anyway, just in life. So this is I bet my husband wished he had this option at home. But somebody mentioned that the YouTube stream was down and it looks like we're still live. I did go in on my phone and I just refreshed it and it seems to be working now. So yay, we're back online.
Terrific. And we are precisely on schedule.
We are on schedule. This is amazing. You know what? You do a really good job at keeping us on schedule. Good job, Alan. I get my little text messages, between us while we're doing this, But,
well, and you're getting good at dismissing the cider makers with the queen-like wave of the hand.
Oh my gosh, that's not what I meant.
Head.
I totally was like, do you want me to let you just take it from here kind of thing? Gosh, okay. I'm not going to live this one down. But, okay, coming up, we have probably one of my oldest friends in the cider industry. And I have a lot to credit because of this wonderful man, James at Wandering Angus, an anthem. So good
Hello.
to see your face.
I'm outside.
With your guitar. Is that a mandolin?
No, ukulele.
Oh, ukulele. Yes, it is. Are you
It's
going
not
to
so
play
bad.
some?
Sure. I don't know if you can hear it though.
We can.
There we
I
go.
love
And
it.
Alan, your singing was great, by the way.
Oh, thank you.
It was only in the chorus. Eugene. I could hear it. It was beautiful.
I'll be announcing the tour at the end of the show.
You know, I have to just say quickly before we get into just talking about your awesome cider company. Every time somebody asks, how did you start the magazine? It's literally, it like starts and ends with James from Wandering Angus, because we were at a cider summit in Seattle and he was like, Kristen, you should start a cider magazine. I was like, that sounds crazy. And what was like maybe 2 years later, I was like, oh, we got to do this, or somebody else is going to do it, and we want to do it right. So all to you for even just planting that seed in my head and giving me the confidence to just go for it. So can you believe we just celebrated 7 years?
Yeah, it's crazy. Well, thank you for sticking in there, both you and Alan, for carrying the torch during this interesting time that we're in.
I think you may be the only one that's joining us tonight, possible exception of Portland Cider, that goes back to those first events in 2010 and 2011.
Yeah, it means we need to retire, right?
Yeah, you must be getting old. I don't know how that happened.
I feel like it.
Well, let's talk about Bloom Cider.
Yeah, Bloom Cider. You got it? I got it. What's the number say on the bottom, by the way? Is there a number on the bottom?
It's weird. It just says Alan stopped singing on camera. I don't know what it is. 21-1.
21-1. So that was in April. We made that, and that was actually the last batch made in Salem. Thanks to our lovely landlord, who hopefully isn't watching this. He didn't renew our lease, so we did an emergency move to Hood River. So that's where we're making cider now, which is an interesting commute from Salem to Hood River, but we're still making Bloom. And this is the batch that we just made a couple of days ago. So the batch that you have in the kit, Alan, is the last batch that we made. And Bloom has been made every year since 1999. So it's probably the oldest cider that we've got in the lineup. And what makes Bloom special is it's a blend of apples that we ferment, but then we take some of those apples and we actually freeze them, and then we let them thaw, and we make what we call a cryo concentration. So similar to what you do to make an ice wine, but instead of fermenting that to make an ice wine, we actually add it to the fermented cider. So that way we're able to add some acidity and sugars back to the fermented cider that was dry, and you get Bloom, which again, we've been making for 22 years every year. And a lot of people in the Portland area in California, this was one of their first ciders that they got. The ciders of Spain, he was talking about migrating to a can, and Bloom finally made it to a can in 2020. It's been in a 750, it's been in a 500, it's been in a 22-ounce bottle, a 12-ounce bottle, and finally it's landed on what most ciders are landing on now, the can. And I kind of like it. It comes in a 6-pack, and it's limitedly available. Our biggest buyer right now of Bloom is the state of Utah, who has, I was going to say religiously, but consistently been buying Bloom cider from us since about 2007. And they're our largest customer. And the hope is that over time, Bloom will make its way back to people that it was their first experience of cider, especially during the Portland farmers markets that we did for quite a long time that helped establish our brand. The other thing that you'll see about Bloom is it was a Wandering Angus lineup but now it's migrated to the Anthem cider lineup. And the reason we did that is because Wandering Angus is focusing on more dry, tannin-rich, esoteric, and heirloom apple blends. So Bloom didn't quite fall into that because it's all sharp apples. But I love it. People love it. And we'll keep making it as long as we're around.
James, I have to say this was when we really started getting into cider. Erin, our editor, was like, this was her hands down very, very favorite cider ever. And in fact, I think she still says that to this day. Like if someone says, what was the best cider you've ever had? Most will always be this one. It's so, it's just so good. It's wonderful.
Yeah, well, thank you. Thank you. And the, I mean, that was PCC in Seattle. This was one of their ciders that they pushed for a while. And then as more ciders came on, there's more choices. And like Wildcraft said, you get the seltzers button into the shelf space. So right now, with our cider sales in general, it's mostly bars and restaurants. So this is where it's finding a home, which I'm fine with.
Elaine said winning
at puns.
I love puns.
Yeah, the religious thing, had to put it in there. Thank you, Utah. Utah is one of our best customers. They pay more than anyone else because they are the wholesaler. So they're the wholesaler and sometimes they're the retailer, so they pay a premium. They send a truck to pick it up. And if anyone's in the state of Utah, if you order a case through the state, they will literally send a truck to us, a full semi truck, to pick up a case of Bloom. Yep. And anyone there in the state of Utah can order anything in the whole country, and the state can't refuse it to them. So they'll go pick up whatever they need to. And also,
you know, these little like side roads, of course.
Yeah. And they pay on time too, so which is great.
That, especially now.
Yeah,
that's awesome. I'm bringing Alan on here.
Yeah. So what? Other unusual thing about Anthem, is it correct that you guys created the first hopped cider?
First hop cider. We had a tea cider. I heard people saying that. We did that a long time ago. We did the rosé actually with Pinot in it a long time ago. But we made lots of ciders. So we've probably made over 100 different ciders that we've released and done. And Alan, you've actually bought most of them at the cider summits over the years. But yeah, the first hop cider, and that was fun. Right now, it goes back and forth, people wanting it, not wanting it. But this year, we're really focusing on our mainline ciders, which are Anthem Cider, Anthem Pear, Anthem Cherry, and Bloom. That's really the focus this year until we get through whatever's going on, and then we'll be back on track. But I think Swift.
Next question. Yeah,
Swift was saying out there on the river that this year was good, or this past months, and we're seeing a good pickup in our sales too. So we're really happy that people are still drinking their cider. It's amazing how much they drink,
especially during a pandemic. I'll tell you what.
Yeah.
Where are you at right now? Because it's very lush.
I'm in my backyard, and that's thanks to McCrae, who both of you have met. She does all the gardening, and there's chickens running around somewhere down there. I don't know if they're in the background, but
so you guys do you have plans to move to Hood River, or
no? I'm commuting right now, and it is a bear of a commute.
Yeah,
so,
I'd imagine.
I go 2 days a week right now, and I stay overnight so I can get mostly everything done. Yeah. And we're still in the setup phase, and I'm training a new cider maker. So then I can just kind of control things without having to be there all the time. Right. And this was the first time I didn't have to wash the kegs for a long time.
Yeah, you made past that.
Yeah, and the first time in a long time that I actually wasn't there for a canning. And I think that's been about 8 years or so. So.
Wow. And so are you guys going to have a tasting room there?
That's the hope.
Okay.
But it's taken a while to get licensing and all of that. So once we get fundamentals down of, production and all of that, those type of things, we will be there. But the goal is to have something on the waterfront there where all
That'd
the
be
windsurfers.
awesome.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
that would be
pretty
great.
crazy. The tourists in Hood River are blowing up there, so
Yeah,
there needs to be more cider.
Hood River is one of my very, very favorite spots. In fact, during COVID, when my birthday in September, we took a road trip and just like camped out. It was just so wonderful.
Can I answer the question down
You
here?
can, and then we're going to move on. So you can
Okay.
divulge whatever personal details you choose to.
Yeah, I'm commuting from Salem, so it's 110 miles.
Oh,
So
you see
that's-
that question. There you go.
I see that question.
Okay.
There
Yeah.
we go.
Wow.
Yeah, and it's quite a commute, and I look forward to the time when I don't have to do that as much.
Yeah.
Yes.
Awesome.
So,
Well,
Thank you, my friend. Good to see you.
Thank you. Enjoy. Thank you for keeping the torch going, Christine and Alan.
And you too. So.
Yeah.
We'll
Bye-bye.
see you
All
soon
right,
in
you
person.
We'll
Have a good
see
night.
you later. All right, rocking and rolling.
I thought we were going to get more ukulele out of him.
I know. I think we put him on the spot, but maybe he, could have given us a real show. I'm just kidding. But people loved it. Loved it. So we are moving on to Bowman's, and we have Bobby Naughton, and I can't see the rest of your name here, so I'm just going to bring you right on. Bobby Naughton - Bowman Cider. Awesome.
Giving you all the details.
Yeah, welcome.
Hello. Thanks.
Live from the
thanks for having
kitchen.
us. Yeah. Welcome to my home in Portland. Bauman's is a cidery based out of Jervis, Oregon, so a little ways south of Portland. But yeah, I'm not down on the farm today, so.
Well, tell people a little bit about a little bit of the history of Bauman's and the farm, because it's such a unique place, and then we'll dive into the cider itself, if that's okay for you.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. So Bauman Cider is a Bauman's farm-based cider. We're on a farm that we're owned, and Christine Walter is our head cider maker, founder. The farm is her family's farm that was started back in 1895. Then fast forward 100 years and then some. And her family had a family meeting, and she was saying, hey, y'all are growing all these apples. You're pressing it into fresh juice every year. And they, sell the hazy cider, sweet cider on the farm to, tons of people every fall. Why aren't we fermenting it? And eventually they had that conversation enough times for her family to say, hey, you do it. So she developed some recipes, and in 2015 launched the cidery, and we've kind of been off to the races since then. It's a really incredible place if you ever get to come visit. Like, I go there daily and it still blows my mind. There's the animal barn full of goats and an alpaca, and what else is there? There's some rabbits.
Kristen, you're muted.
And I did want to say, can you tell us how many people visit that farm a year? Isn't it like just an insane amount?
In the month of October, we will typically see over 100,000 people.
I mean, that is wild. There's not a lot of places like that anymore around here. I mean, they definitely have them in the Midwest and stuff, but that is amazing.
Yeah, it's a really incredible experience in the fall, the Harvest Fest, which, fingers crossed, we're just starting to talk about it now, but in the past, we have done a cider festival in late September to kick it all off. And this year we are talking about September 25th and 26th. Hopefully we will be hosting some vaccinated folks for a cider festival in person. So we shall see.
My birthday is the 25th, so let's stick with that. That'd be really fun.
We'll see you there. Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about the cider that we're drinking today, because I'm actually drinking it as we speak. It is so delicious. Tell us what goes into this cider.
So just one apple, start to finish. This is the Macintosh single varietal. So A lot of you may know us for our pretty fruit-forward berry ciders that are made with fruit grown straight on the farm. Macintosh single varietal. This round, we did not grow these apples, but we did just put in 2 acres of Macintosh. So we're looking forward to having that, orchard to glass process going real soon. This one, it's the one Macintosh apple. So it's an apple that was first found in, I believe it was somewhere in Northeast Canada in the early 1800s. It was generally viewed as an all-purpose apple, so it's pretty darn tart, but sweet enough where it makes a good eating apple. But personally, I grew up in Massachusetts, and I smell this glass, and it's just apple pie, minus the cinnamon, of course. But it's really juicy. It's really Macintosh is a unique apple, and this. We wanted to highlight it in just the most honest way we could. So we fermented our Macintosh juice down to dryness and ended up blending back in just a little bit of more Macintosh juice that we'd set aside to bring it into that right in between semi-sweet, semi-dry space. So you get that really pleasant sweetness, that really fresh aroma and flavor, and just a really delightful, clean cider.
And Bobby, this is you're doing a series of single varietal ciders, is that right?
We are, yeah.
What are some of the others?
So currently available, the Macintosh. If you're loving this, track it down right now because it's almost gone. We also have a Muscadet de Dieppe, which is a French bittersweet apple. It's very tannic and very dry. So kind of representing that the French bittersweet category. Then we do an Porter's Perfection. That one's a barrel-aged English varietal that's also available. It's a bit more balanced and but still bringing a very complex approachability. Thanks, Kimberly. Then I'm really excited. I should have a day for you, but I don't. But in the next, I would say 2-3 weeks, you will be seeing on shelves our estate Gravenstein cider. So these are Gravensteins we grew ourselves as a cidery. We fermented them start to finish, aged them in some Pinot Noir barrels from Joe Dobbs Wineries, and it's beautiful. You get a little bit of oakiness, a lot of that characteristic Gravenstein tart, fresh apple.
The Gravensteins are kind of like everywhere in Sonoma County, but I don't recall any of the Northwest cider makers talking about that apple or in their orchards. Is it planted much up here or grown much here?
Yeah, it's fallen a little bit out of favor. It probably 50 years ago, it was one of the apples of the Northwest. It's pretty disease resistant. So our wet winters are it tolerates those a lot better. So
Gotcha. So we're going to run in a minute, but yeah, let's address this question. Is Bauman sending any cider to Southern California?
Not yet. I would direct you to our website. It's just baumancider.com. You will be able to, we have an order online page, and we'll ship it to 43 different states, and I'm certain California is one of them.
Yeah. I will, so I was there a couple of weeks ago to pick up cider and was startled by some strange noise. And I said to Christine, "What the hell is that?" And she's like, "You're such a city boy, it's a rooster." Okay. So then she insisted, right, I go over and like see the goats and all the other stuff and fun. So I would encourage everyone to go visit. It's great. And there's a old time general store there, and there's a bakery in there, right? As well. And had some cider donuts, I think, and all kinds of stuff. Yeah.
Full garden center. There's a growler station there if you want to sample some of our ciders. We usually have 8 on tap, and anything we've ever put in bottles is available there too. So
terrific. Yeah. Bobby, can you take a shot at this question before we move on?
So for the Gravensteins, it's from Joe Dobbs Wine. That's here in Oregon, right over in Newburgh. The Pinot clone, I do not know that.
Okay, yeah. Serious wine geek question. Right. But thank you, Elaine. All right.
He thanks you for that. So.
Yeah, but thanks so much, Bobby. We got to keep moving, but really great to always have Bauman's as part of this. And again, I encourage everyone to go visit, experience everything there. It's really not a terrible drive from Portland area or whatever.
About how far of a drive is it to the farm from Portland?
From where I'm at in Southeast, it's about 30-35 miles.
Oh,
so it depends on where you are in Portland.
Just going to wine country. I mean, that's easy peasy.
Absolutely.
Awesome.
We do it daily.
Cool.
There you go.
Well, thank you, Bobby. This was so fun. And I am loving this cider, but I love everything that you guys do. I mean, I think I love everything that everybody does on this whole channel. So it's really awesome. So thank you so much. And
Bobby,
hope to see you in person soon.
Definitely. Thanks for having us. We'll see you around.
We'll see you later. Okay. Now we have got an importer who actually happens to kind of be my neighbor. We used to share the same wine storage area, which I'm sorry, Joan, but okay, let's bring on Joan with French cider. She's got a special.
Hi, Joan.
Hi, Alan. Hi, Kristen. I know we miss you in the warehouse.
I know. I'm sorry. We had to get a little bit of a larger one, so yeah. we're up north a little bit, but yeah, it was always nice to run into you.
Yes, always fun.
Yeah.
It's been a lot of time in the warehouse, so it's always interesting to see who's going to show up.
Totally. Yeah.
So please tell everyone a little bit about your company, and then we'll dive into this particular cider. It's kind of a different one for us.
Hi, I'm Joan Harkins, and I, as Kristen said, am an importer. I import ciders from Normandy. I'm gonna actually look up this way so you can see my eyes. Normandy, Brittany, and the Basque region. I've been doing it for about 5 years. I was over in France on a trip, and my friends from Brittany introduced me to cider, and I came back and thought, well, this would be a really fun thing to do. So I started importing it, and the portfolio has grown. I think we've probably got about 25 different ciders in the portfolio now, which is really exciting to me. But I love the cider that we're talking about tonight, which is Kisten. And I think, Alan, you held it up. I'll hold it up too. Kisten. So this is a cider from Brittany. And if you're familiar with France, you have Paris, and then you go over it's probably about a 2-hour drive west and a little south. And there's a little area that juts out into the English Channel, and that is Brittany. And Brittany has, I would say there's not necessarily a region in Brittany where all of the cider apples are grown. They seem to be grown in different pockets around the region. Our particular cider maker, his name is Sasha Cromar. He's really interesting. He actually used to work in Normandy making this highly regulated cider that's regulated by the French government. It's called AOC cider. And he's super creative. And so one day he's like, you know what, I don't want to be confined by all of these regulations anymore. So he left Normandy and he moved down to Brittany, where he could kind of get out from underneath the thumb of the AOC regulators, and started his own cidery, and has been making what I feel are some of the most intriguing and interesting ciders coming out of France right now. He's always experimenting with new things, and I'm always surprised and interested to see what he has going on. But the one that we're talking about tonight is Kiston, and it's a traditional Brittany cider. So he realized that he needed to do a traditional Brittany cider as part of his portfolio. And I just love this cider because it is very approachable, right? My husband and I drink it with everything. We drink it with fish, we drink it with chicken, we drink it with steak. We just had it with steak tonight. And have found that it's a very easy cider to appreciate because it's got a very elegant flavor and very easy to, to drink it. It's great in hot weather. I mean, I think one of the things that people often think with French cider is they're supposed to sip it like wine. And in fact, that's not true. You're supposed to, drink it. You're supposed to drink it for thirst quenching. So we were drinking our Kiston cider tonight, which was really fun. The cider apples that are used for Kiston cider are mainly douce and douce amère, which is sweet and bittersweet. So the bittersweet apples really give it that framework that makes it really interesting. And then there's just this little hint of sweet apple that really is just, in my opinion, just a suggestion of sweetness. And then it gives away to a really nice brut or dry finish. One of the things that people often ask me is what you're supposed to drink French cider in. And you actually drink it in a tulip wine glass. And I think that's why people think they're supposed to sip it, really genteelly. But no, you put it in your wine glass and then you drink it with gusto, and you'll be quite happy with the flavors that you get. And the flavors will reveal themselves really pretty much after every taste, after every sip of the cider. So let's see. So can I share some pictures?
Please.
Okay, so do I just hit share?
I think so. Kristen, can you jump in if you're there?
I'll just say share screen here. Let me see if I can.
I mean, I don't have any idea.
Let's find out.
Let me try.
Yes, I believe you just hit share. So we'll remove ourselves and see if that works.
Yeah, no, I think it should work okay. I'm going to put my... All right, so I'm hitting share. Is anybody seeing anything?
Not yet. But I think you hit share.
Yeah, okay, so I'm hitting share. I'm going to go like this. Here's this. All right, now hold on. And try one more time. If this doesn't work, I'll just explain everything. Okay. Yeah, it's funny. My share button is not activated. I can't do anything with it. All right. Sorry.
It's all good.
We'll go back to no. I'll just describe everything.
Okay, sounds perfect.
So I visited Sasha, gosh, probably 2 or 3 years ago in Brittany. And he has this lovely cider boutique in the city of Vannes. And Vannes is near the southern part of Brittany, very near the Atlantic Ocean. So if you're ever in Brittany, definitely go by Vannes and look for the Kiston Boutique. I have some pictures of it, but look for the Kiston Boutique, and Sasha and his girlfriend Clotilde are usually there giving dégustation, which is the French word for tastings. And one of the things that I love about his boutique is he's got so many different products in there. He's got his ice cider, which is one of his newer creations, which is incredible. We've got a couple pallets coming in the next couple of months. He's also got a ginger pear cider, which I think is really beautifully balanced. And then he's also got a chestnut cider, which we have as well, which is great for the holidays. So that gives you an idea of all the great things that Sasha is always doing, right? He's got chestnut, he's got ginger ale, he's got ice cider, and he's recently started making gin as well. So if you're in Van, definitely go and visit him and see what he's up to. I mean, I'm sure he's up to something new.
So you have a really interesting portfolio. So why don't you send people to the website, since we have to run in just a moment, so they can explore and discover.
Super easy. It's FrenchCider.com.
There you go. That's it. Doesn't get easier than that. And
exactly.
I just popped that into the comments too, so that people had the your website. So
yeah, and then you can also get them through Press Then Press. So
great. Who's been our shipping partner? So those of you outside of Oregon or Southwest Washington this time got your kits shipped via Press Then Press. And
definitely.
I know Chris was on with us towards the beginning, but he's vacationing with the family on the East Coast right now. So
good for him.
It's bedtime out there, you know. But anyways, thank you so much, Joan. Always great to have you as part of these kits and explore the wonderful world of French cider with you. And hopefully we will see you in Seattle in a couple of months.
Hopefully.
For sure. Yeah.
All right.
Have a good evening.
Bye.
Thank you.
Okay.
Oh my God, look who's up next.
I know. I'm like seeing this. I'm like, I can see him in the back room. He's ready to go. Let's just bring this guy on.
So the last time he was the closing act, and he noted that because we felt we needed to get people like really, really drunk first.
Yeah.
Before, but he's not quite the closing act tonight. But
I have been down here for like 2 hours drinking my backstock, waiting patiently for my
You literally look like you're sitting in a box, in like a cider box right now.
It's my cider box. This is actually so I started the business 10 years ago, almost exactly. And I'm in my basement. I started it here in my basement. And right there is where my sink was, and over there is where my fermenters were. And the only thing that's left of the whole thing is, my computer is propped up on a 55-gallon drum of vinegar, and then I've got all the awesome stuff behind me. But so maybe I'll have a little bar down here at some point. People can come and drink in the OG spot, right?
Yeah.
I'm guessing both Kristen and I were probably trying to eye those bottles on the shelves behind you. And see if there's anything we want to drink with you.
There's some Tepache there, and there's some.
I've maybe had a few drinks with Nat over the years. That's for sure.
I have some other stuff. I have some beers and wine. I drink all kinds of things, not just my own stuff.
You're an equal opportunist drinker.
As long as it tastes good. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, why don't you go ahead and tell everybody about the cider that we're drinking today?
Okay, so it's this one it should be the purple one that you're drinking, Punch. And it says Rev Nats, and that's me in case that wasn't obvious. Punch is, I thought about, just telling you kind of what's in the cider, but I thought that'd be a little bit boring. What I want to instead is talk about summer ciders overall, and then maybe how this one might fit into. I'm drinking mine with ice. Strong recommendation. It's 108 degrees in Portland right now. Let's see. I think like 3 years ago, I made a cider called Viva la Pineapple, and I think Alan, you featured that one on a previous set, and that was a pineapple cider. That was our summer seasonal a few years back. We had pineapple, obviously. There's a little bit of spiced cinnamon in there, with some lemon zest. We could do a couple of tricks with it to get it to be really tropical and really fruity without being very sweet. That one was so delicious that it became our a year-round cider. I couldn't hold it back for just the summer. So year-round cider. And then the next summer came around and I was like, oh, great, I got to make another seasonal. What can I make that's different? I don't want to just make another sort of pineapple-y type thing. So I made a cider called Saint Citron, and some of you, I'm sure, have had that one. It's our best seller in our home delivery. We do a lot of home deliveries around Portland. It's our best seller in a home delivery program. And that one has 4 different kinds of citrus and a little bit of ginger, and it finishes with some sea salt. So it's really, really different from the Viva la Pineapple, which is just very, very pineapple and very juicy. This one kind of is a bit more like a margarita. That one was so good that it became a year-round as well. So now dial back to pandemic summer last year, and I tried to figure out, great, I got to make another summer seasonal. I keep making these delicious summer seasonals that get elevated to year-round ciders. How do I make something that's even different from those other two? And I came up with Punch. So it's a little bit more in the Viva La Pineapple world, but but it's a blend of a bunch of different ciders, different fruits together. And my design goal with this cider was to put a whole bunch of fruits in there, have it be really fruity and really juicy and really spark that name Punch, but not be sweet. Now, I'm not to say it's completely dry by any means, but it's much less sweet than Viva La Pineapple. And it's about the same sweetness as Saint Citron, which is not very sweet at all. So it has apple. Of course, it's almost all apple juice. And then we add some blood, or I'm actually reading the side of the can, which is helpful here. A little bit of blood orange juice. Blood orange juice is really different from regular orange juice. It's got actually some more bitterness to it and some kind of like weird tannin kind of things that are going on in oranges. Blood oranges, that's from the compound called anthocyanins, which I could talk about at length, but nobody wants to hear that right now. We're all a little too drunk for that anthocyanins conversation. And then we add some mangoes, and we're sourcing these mangoes from India. And India grows the best mangoes. They grow friggin' hundreds of varieties of mangoes in India, and the Indian mango farmers are the best in the world. We're bringing these Indian mangoes, and then a little bit of watermelon. And we're using watermelon essence. Okay, I will tell no lies. You can't get watermelon juice to taste like watermelons. It's really, I make a cider called Holy Watermelon, but it's incredibly hard, and it's mostly watermelon juice. It's like 3/5 watermelon juice, 2/5 cider. So we're using a watermelon essence, like a naturally derived. They take a bunch of watermelons, chop them up, and soak them in like alcohol, and it's like a watermelon tincture, basically. That goes in, and then a little bit more ginger as well, which gives it kind of a little bit of a bite, a little bit of a balance in there. So that's the ginger punch. Yeah, I mean, it's like ginger punch. It's also good if you need to punch someone. You could just use the cider instead of getting out your violence. No violence. So, how many more ciders do we have to drink tonight? 3?
A few.
We could just stop now and just drink more punch. You did include 2 cans, like I asked you, right, Alan?
Of course. So, hey, there's a couple of Tapache questions.
Yes, we do. You're famous for your Tapache. So, will you bring back the mango Tapache cider? That was amazing.
Mango, I got a bottle back here this is my little personal collection of 10 shows down here. Mango habanero. I've done 2 hot Tapache, spicy hot Tapache, and then the mango habanero. Yeah, Tapache. Never say never, but if I just made the same thing over and over again, I wouldn't have something like punch. So I definitely, I learn as I'm making ciders. I learn tools that I can use. This cider wouldn't be here if I hadn't made mango Tapache, because understanding the relationship between mangoes and cider, so it definitely provided another tool in my toolkit for making a cider. So never say never, but you're never going to get it.
And Al's saying this is the first cider he's drinking from the kit. And
all right, Al, cheers. Cheers to us. And ice, man, no problem. Like if you didn't plan ahead and get your kit properly chilled, even whether it's not too hot or whatever, but I'm not too fancy that you can't drink ice on cider.
We're sticking in the freezer for a hot minute. Susie, how hard was it to get the balance of flavors?
Yeah, there's 2 kinds of ciders that I've made. Those where sort of clouds part and the angels sort of just drop a recipe off of my lap. And Sacrilege Sour Cherry is a very popular one. That one came about that way. It just kind of poured out of me the first go. We've never changed it, never touched the recipe at all. Saint Citron, on the opposite, took like 9 months and like 50 different batches to make. If you were lucky enough to come into the tap room during the winter of whatever, you drank a lot of Saint Citron. Yeah, whatever that was. So punch was actually a little bit of a pain in the ass for sure, primarily because it was the first cider that I made that we didn't have a tap room. So COVID, no tap room. And usually when I'm developing a new cider, I take individual pieces and I work on those. and then put them in the tap room for feedback. And then I'll combine them into different other ciders, and then work that with the public. And this was not an option. So I actually had like a lot of like, I don't know, cider maker's block or something. It was really painful coming up with this one, but I really love it. It took, I mean, my wife's upstairs probably listening to me, wishing she wasn't listening to me right now. But she's a great drinking partner with me. We work together on a lot of the recipes. She's got a very different palate than I do. So being able to sort of workshop it with some other folks was really important. There's some neighbors around here who are, they found out that I'm Reverend Nat, so they're reliable partners in some of this.
Yeah,
sure.
My neighbors love me too. Because I am just, giving them all the leftover wines and ciders and beers. So I'm pretty popular in my neighborhood. Let's just say that.
Yeah, when the pandemic started, I started loading my porch. I have a covered porch. When the pandemic started, people were not coming in my house anymore. So I told them all, there's cider on my front porch. This is the spot. And it just gets depleted. And then I don't put these on there. I put the the good, the more common stuff.
Right.
But it's kind of an easy way for my neighbors to come and get some cider. And yeah, it looks like Giovanna. Yeah, we've done 11,000 home deliveries since the pandemic started.
That is absolutely
totally
insane.
Yeah. My competitors on the in the back room are listening to this and thinking, "Holy smokes!"
Kidding. Well,
yeah, so it's been great for us. It's been a lot of fun too.
That's so cool to get a home delivery. Now, obviously, people are already asking, like, where can you find it in stores? Are you shipping it to Cali? What's going on?
No, you can go down to LA, Al, if you want to drive down there, or come up to Ashland. Those are the closest locations. We don't ship. We are available in like some of the Northwest states, Montana. We're huge in Montana. Who knew? Ohio, Colorado, some Northeast states as well. If you go to revnats.com and you click the find button at the top, or revnats.com/find, you'll get put in your zip code and tell you where it is, kind of a thing. But we're not really distributed in Northern California at all, and we don't ship, unfortunately.
Okay, now one last thing too, because I show everybody your mug on the can, your new brand piece.
Oh yeah, okay, there it is.
On the can.
Yeah,
there
that's
he is.
Me. Or like I said, that's my more attractive brother, my more attractive twin brother. Yeah, it took a long time. My wife was always asking for me to. She's like, "There's no named brands that don't have the person on there," and I was like,
right.
Eventually, I get
fine. I'll put my mug on the can.
Yeah.
No big deal.
Yeah. It was a good hair day.
One last question for you, Nat, before we run, because we're.
Oh, sorry.
Los Angeles. Yes.
Yes, Los Angeles.
Look,
yes.
Los Angeles, Whittier. The Cellar in Whittier is the best place for us in LA. They're in downtown Whittier. What caused it to be so hazy? The fact that there's like real fruit in there. Mango is the big one. It's impossible to get clear mango juice. The way that you juice mangoes is actually a mango puree. You can't squeeze mangoes due to the weird pectin stuff that's in them. So they actually just puree mangoes, and then that's what's in here is mango puree. So if you can manage, tip the can upside down before you drink it.
I love it. Well,
we had one customer that wrote in about how they miss your tap room. So in the future, might there be one coming in the new location?
Follow me on social media.
All right. Stay tuned for more bad details. All right. We should go.
Right. Yes.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Thanks, Nat. Always good
to see everybody.
Good to see you. We'll talk to you soon. Bye, Nat. Okay. So we are running just a few minutes behind schedule, but that's just typical in these things. So
Nat is always a problem. He's always a troublemaker, right?
He's a problem child, always. No, we're kidding. We love him. I think a lot of people even come on here just for that specific, to see him. So, okay, so we've got a really cool little video from Cider, and they are going to show us a cocktail. So let's go with that here.
And I can't possibly sing along to this, but I'll mute my mic just in case.
Oh my gosh, please do.
Hello, welcome to Portland Cider Summit 2021. We are very happy to be here virtually this year, but hope that we can join you all in person next year. My name is Kyla Wells. I'm from Cider Farm and Cider House, located in Saanich, BC. For those of you who do not know, we are a small farm-based cidery just outside of Victoria on Vancouver Island. We pride ourselves in growing heritage apples. We grow over 50 varieties on the farm, and we have over 1,300 trees. Hoping you can all come up and visit us sometime soon. So today I'm going to do something a little bit special. I'm going to be making a Ruby Rose margarita using Cider House Ruby Rose. This cider is an apple blend that we infuse with rhubarb and rosehip, and it's one of our summer sippers. So let's dive right in and get started. Quite easy. You need a couple ingredients: tequila of choice, Cider House Ruby Rose, Cointreau. You'll need some lime, some salt, some ice, and some lime juice. So I've already got my shaker prepared. This guy's filled with ice. I'm gonna double up because I think that cider should be shared with friends. So I'm gonna make two, one for me and one for my friend. But I will speak to doing a solo recipe. So to dive right in, we're gonna do just a 1/2 ounce of lime juice. You're gonna wanna do 1 ounce of Ruby Rose. You're gonna also wanna do, to your preference, we like to do 1.5 ounces of tequila. That being said, if you wanna do a little lighter, you can do 1 ounce. If you wanna do a little stronger, by all means do 2. Perfect. There we go. And last but not least, a 1/2 ounce of Cointreau. So combine that all in a shaker with ice. Move these aside. And shake. I like to go for 10 seconds. Perfect. Got a little messy there. You'll want to rim your glasses with some fresh salt. I've got some pink Himalayan salt here. Grab an ice cube. And just strain over fresh ice. Perfect. Garnish with your rhubarb and some lime juice, and voila. Cheers, everybody.
All right. That was fun. I love cider cocktails. We feature cider cocktails every issue of Cidercraft because we just like to show, that you can do so much with cider. It doesn't just have to be drank straight. So I love that.
And Cider makes so many terrific products, and their Prohibition has been a long time favorite at our festivals. Their rum barrel aged one, and their Bittersweet is one of the best Northwest ciders I've ever tasted. Yeah, hard to find. So yeah, and very, very cool spot to visit as well.
And I know they ship, and unfortunately we just can't get to BC just yet. But hopefully the borders will open soon, and because it is the most charming, most beautiful spot you've ever seen. It's absolutely gorgeous. So just right outside of Victoria. It's absolutely beautiful. So okay, so up next we have a quick little video from Avid Cider, and then we are going to bring on the cider maker. Is he the cider maker?
No, Jason works in sales in the Northwest, so he'll be joining us. Yeah, and we'll be doing this is the Marionberry Mojito.
Awesome.
But first is the intro video about Avid.
Let's do it. Okay. Avid has like the best videography. I watch a lot of their stuff. Like they have so many great videos, and also they just recently went through a rebranding, which I absolutely love. I think they knocked it out of the park with this one. So let's bring on Avid Cider.
There he is.
Hey, how's it going?
Hey,
Good.
Jason, how are you?
Pretty good. I'm going to open up a nice little Marionberry mojito since we're tasting that.
Please.
Tell us where you're at.
Well, I live in Portland, so that's where I'm at. It's a little chilly here.
Yeah.
But it's actually turned into a really beautiful evening. So this is perfect right now. So
I can't believe you're wearing a beanie. You're legit.
everybody's complaining about the heat. I don't know what anybody's talking about. It feels really good.
That's amazing.
I hope Dan appreciates your extra branding work that you're doing tonight in the 100-degree evening. So
absolutely.
Yeah, when the sweat drops fall off my face and into my cider, then we'll know that the extra sauce is perfect.
Yeah.
Yes, yeah. And then we'll know it's time to end the segment. Yeah, perfect.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. So maybe just give us like just another minute or about Avid background.
Sure,
that he wasn't in the video, and then we can get into the product a bit.
Yeah, absolutely. So Avid Cider, we were started by Dan and Sam McCoy in 2013. Teachers that really wanted to, and back in 2013, the cider industry, you're either tasting, super sweet or you're tasting super dry. So they wanted to have something that was pretty balanced and right in the middle. And I think that they have definitely done that. And we have been growing steadily ever since. I believe right now we're the #2 cider producer in the state of Oregon. We've got some really, really cool partnerships. One being with the Portland Trail Blazers. We're the official cider of the Portland Trail Blazers, which is also a really big, really fun relationship that we get to participate in. And so we're just continuing to produce really, really great tasting cider, really unique flavor combinations. And I think they do a really, really good job. Our production guys down over in Bend, they just kill it every single time. And we've got some really cool things planned for the fall. I won't get into that. But I do want to talk a little bit about the Marionberry Mojito. It was our spring release, our seasonal rotator, and which we've now also transitioned into our summer release, which is our pineapple mango, which you guys don't have. I do have a can with me, but we can talk a little bit more about the Marionberry Mojito or anything else you like to talk about.
Yeah, please. No, let's talk about Marionberry Mojito since that's the one in the kit, and then we'll, if we have a couple minutes left at the end, we'll talk a little bit more about the rest of the range.
Yeah, Eric Latil is our cider maker, and he has done just a fabulous job with blending the flavors, getting a nice little tartness to it. As you're tasting this cider, you're actually tasting through the layers. You're going to taste the lime, and you're definitely going to taste the mint, and those come out really, really good and done really, really well. It's not going to be super sweet, and it's just like a balanced flavor. And I think it's surprising. It's actually a flavor combination that has surprised me. You know, I was like I have a brand new little puppy, and sometimes that puppy will do what? And so when I first thought about the mojito, I had that kind of look like, wow, that's kind of an interesting combination, but it is really, really good. Have you guys tried that yet?
I haven't emptied my glass yet. Kristen, if you're there, have you had the chance to taste yet? I'm good. It's going to be my dessert, I think, tonight from the right at the end of when we shut down.
I keep muting myself and taking off my camera, and I'm like, you know, getting all flustered. I've had a few ciders now, but I have not tried this cider just yet. I still have so many ciders. I should have had multiple friends here just drinking half of the stuff that I can't get through. But I've had many of Avid ciders, and they're always delicious and really great flavors. So,
always been very popular at the festivals.
Yeah, I've been to the tap room like 5 times. I love that place. Like, it's so fun. It's always such a good vibe there.
Yes.
You guys are always having a good time. Like in your videos, it's just the real deal.
Yeah, and that's the video. We really wanted to showcase the fruit from the Northwest. Our juice, our apples. They're from the Hood River area, and it's. The fruit is really the showcase in all of our ciders. I think that with our flavor profile and the way that they sit in the glass, the way that they drink, it is something that, you know, can be had with most meals. It's just a really good cider, especially on a hot day, and just spending time with friends. You know, the artwork that we have on our cans looks spectacular. Yeah. You talked about the rebranding that we did about 1.5 years ago, and our artist, her name is Gianna. She just does a wonderful, wonderful job. She really, especially with kind of these specialty ciders like the dragon fruit or the watermelon rhubarb, the pineapple mango, the artwork is outstanding. It really, really is. It really just pops on the shelf.
Well, Jill really says it's a really good cider, and she likes the combo of berry, lime, and mint. And Elaine, our bestie, likes the mint. It's almost a middle note, and her brother likes it. Well,
I like that.
That's good. That's good.
So there was also speculation in the comments above about what's under the beanie.
Oh my! I need a new haircut. That's the real deal. I mean, if I took off the beanie, it's just like you'd have too much, you know, camera angle on the dome. It's going to flash back at you. It's going to be way too bright. I actually need to get a haircut, but
yeah, it's out of control.
I've got kind of that monk cut going.
Be careful. Put your beanie back on it. Your head's going to get cold.
It's not a 4 head. It's like a 10 head. So.
Well, there you go, Nick. You saw it. And
all right, there you go. Yes, that's a high note to end on. So
yeah,
great.
Absolutely.
Thanks so much, Grayson.
Thank you guys
really
for having us.
Always enjoy having Avid as part of the event.
Guys. Thank you.
Thanks a lot. Have a good
evening.
Grayson.
It's good to meet you.
Cheers.
Okay, we're nearing. We're only 20 minutes over at this point, but we are nearing towards the end, and we are going to. I guess we're saving the best for last over here, Darren.
The big finish, yeah. Duran from Portland.
Well, let's ask him. How do you say your name?
I say it Duran, but you can say it Aaron.
Duran. I want to say it how you say it. I get it all the time. That's great. So tell us a little bit what you do with Portland Cider, and let's get in and talk about some of this cider.
Okay, so yeah, Duran Davenport's my name. Official title is the Cider Shaman at Portland Cider Company. But I wear a few other hats than that here. Head cider maker is one of them, I suppose. We've included our new Imperial Peach Tea in this pack. So I'll just kind of run over a little bit of how this came about. Basically, if you're like in the industry, you would know this, but in January 12-ounce cans, you could start filling like a higher ABV imperial cider into 12-ounce cans. So you've seen this kind of like rush of people starting to make these imperial 6-packs. And so we were like, well, we want to do that because we've been making our Perfect 10 cider, which is a 10% cider, in a 500 milliliter bottle for a while. But we're like, let's do something really fun. Let's not just do like a traditional apple cider. Like let's make something kind of fun and quirky. And maybe 5 years ago, a little after I started, we had cracked up this little taproom exclusive peachy cider. And every year I make like 100 gallons and we sell it out of the tap room, and it goes over really well. And I've kind of been like developing the recipe. And so when we decided to launch this Imperial pack, that came to mind because at least the way that we make Imperial cider is, and this is super nerdy, sorry, I'll go through it really quick. But we always use fresh juice from the Yakima Valley, of course, in our cider. And typically that ferments dry at about 7.5% alcohol by volume. And if we want to make it stronger, we need to add more sugar to it. And so we will use a heat concentrated apple juice to kind of fortify to get the apple sugars higher. And then that will ferment out at a much higher ABV. When you do that, when you're adding that heat concentrated apple juice, you get kind of these caramely notes. It gets a little bit richer, a little bit deeper. And so with the like black tea concept, it fits really well with that. And so I kind of got to work in the little lab, and my favorite tea maker is Steve Smith Tea Maker, is like a legendary tea maker. Tazo, is just like a Portland hero. So we started using some different black teas from them. And as we're making this, we called up Stephen Smith and we're like, hey, do you want to like collaborate on this? And they're the sweetest people. I've been really enjoying getting to know them. So we had this like Zoom calls, and they were like, here's some teas we think will be really good. And this just their Assam black tea, when we started steeping it, so we steep it in the cider, and we started steeping it in the cider, and there was like these like peach aromatics coming off of it. And I was just like, oh yeah, this is the one. So we use quite a bit of their tea in this. We use some peaches also from Washington. And here's the box. If you have not seen it, we just released a couple months ago. And it's sadly, rest in peace, kind of dry. It has become our #1 seller in the last 2 months. So there's some thirsty people out there. But the black tea plays really well into this imperial idea because it gives it this like huge body and these tannins and almost like this smokiness. And then the peaches as well, kind of this like peach, because they're just like pressed peach juice, you get like that kind of that peach skin thing going on. And so even though it's like what I would consider kind of a semi-sweet, or not really semi-sweet, but kind of medium sweet cider, from the tannins of the tea, that kind of like grippy, like fuzzy peach skin thing, and then also the French oak that we made the cider on, you get, which is, you don't really get the oak flavor, but just the mouthfeel. It really makes it just kind of like really well-rounded, and you get like the acidity from the peaches, and so it doesn't become cloying or like really heavy and dense. So I think it's kind of like a nice like all year round drinker. But this concept of teaming up with local creators in Portland is something that we've like leaned into a little bit in the last year or 2 years. We've done a collaboration with Blue Star. We do this blueberry bourbon basil cider that's just like beautiful. We just started using Singing Dog Vanilla out of Eugene for our Tangerine Dreamsicle. And so it's that kind of this more this like local collaboration because we've been really enjoying it. But this is like the ultimate treat because it's just like lightly sweet, but just really rich, but just satisfying. And then 9.5% ABV. I mean, take that as you will. do with it as you will.
I think everybody is commenting on the 9.5% ABV, which there's a good question. what makes it, what causes it to have such a high ABV?
Yeah, so kind of what I was talking about with the available sugars. So with a beer, you've got like you're cooking down your grain, which grain sugars are these really long, complex sugars that the yeast can't eat. So when you're brewing beer, you're cooking that and it breaks apart those sugars, but you can't ever quite break apart all of those long chain sugars. So in beer, you have something called terminal gravity, which is like that last bit of sugar that the yeast just can't eat. But in cider, and I love to point this out to people who say that cider is too sweet for them to drink, all of the sugars are these really simple short chain sugars. So the yeast is able to eat all of the available sugars, and when the cider is done fermenting, it's completely dry. There's no residual sugar left. So if we want it sweetened, we need to add some kind of sweetener back at the end. In this case, it's peach juice. So for the high ABV, we add more that concentrated apple juice, which is like a ton of sugar and like a very small amount of liquid, and we add that back to it. So now we've got a much higher amount of sugar to start the fermentation. And again, the yeast is going to eat all of it. So that's how you get the high ABV.
And also, Elaine said she'd drink this in the summer, in the afternoon, or all year in SoCal. So I'm thinking she's enjoying it. In fact, it looks like everybody is actually enjoying this right now. So
oh, good. It's a good closer. I mean, everybody's going to go to bed after this one, I think.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, let's just punch them with a 9.5% cider and like put them to bed at this point. So
Duran, you guys are doing like a series of these imperial ciders, right? So what other ones are on the horizon?
I can't tell you that, Alan.
All right. What other ones have been in the past?
Marketing will come in from the side and just give me like the cold forearm to the jaw if I do that.
Is Helen there? Okay. Is Helen there right now?
No, she's probably huddled up around an air conditioner somewhere. Yeah. I'm the poor sucker down here at the cidery filtering cider, but no, we do.
Well, we can say that it is a series of stuff, and you guys will be doing new releases of these imperial ciders.
Yeah, and you know, man, so many cideries, like I said, have come out with some awesome, some apple imperial 6-packs lately. I really love Scott, that from Seattle Cider. The oh my gosh, the name is escaping right now, but the design is so cool with the neon. But if you haven't had Seattle Cider's imperial, it's really good. But we were like, you know what, let's just blow it out and do some really fun flavors and then rotate it. So this just came out, and like I said, it's moved into our #1 seller, so it'll probably finish out the year. But we got some things cooking up that we're going to kind of rotate into this imperial 6-pack.
Now, does it come with a warning on the label? Because this is getting up to the canned wine ABV where, you know, I have had many of friends bring those out on the boat with us. And I'm like, danger, you can't drink that like a normal, beer or anything. You've got 14.5% alcohol in there and bubbles.
Yeah, no doubt. It's really easy drinking for 9.5%. We talked about it in production. We're like every once in a while we like have a production group text and somebody would be like, oh no, peach tea's got me right now. So yeah, be careful. It's definitely, like I said, it's a treat. You know, both in the ABV and it's not super sweet, but it's just so like rich and satisfying. So it's definitely meant to be a treat. And I mean, it's a different drinking experience from like your 6% dry go-to side.
Right.
Fantastic. Thanks so much, Duran. It's a great one to close on, and always our friends at Portland Cider are always terrific to work with. We really appreciate having you as part of this.
I'm pretty sure the last time we did this, about this time, people were saying that they were doing dance parties. So
I think that's right.
Oh, you're a little frozen.
I was about to break out in some dance myself.
Yes, you should, for sure. I'm literally going to jump in the lake right after this. So everybody's saying, yeah, Peach has me too. He has me too. Awesome. Well, thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks, Ron.
Yeah, thank you so much. And go home and get cool at this point.
Really appreciate
All right. Okay, well, that was good. We got him for most of the time. It just started going out at the, end. It's probably like, we need to wrap this up now, so our
perfect.
Technical stuff is just like, let's go. But gosh, this has been fun. Another fun Cider Summit, PDX. We also have a special offer for a Cidercraft subscription that we are going to send to everyone tomorrow or Monday. Maybe it's tomorrow, Sunday, and it's just going to be way too hot. But anyhow, watch for that in your inbox. And this has been fun. Alan, thanks always for asking me to co-host. I just have a good time. Now I'm going to go jump in the lake.
Yeah, I don't know. Thank you. It's and everybody out there, please support Cidercraft. It's been a huge part of our industry, and we've talked about we've been partners in crime and trying to help grow the biz over the last however many, was it 7, 8 years that you've been?
Yeah.
And we go back to 2010 with our festivals. Also, just want to say thanks again to our participating cider makers, and of course all of you that have joined us, and Preston Press, who did shipping of kits around the country. Let's remind everyone that if they want to watch this again, God knows why, it's on both of our Facebook pages and the Cidercraft YouTube channel, correct?
Yep.
And
And we'll also get it up on our website. So cidercraftmag.com, you'll be able to get it. If you just click on videos, it'll be there by tomorrow. So you guys can all do this again.
And we, as we kind of talked about earlier, are very much helping to produce our Seattle Festival live. And so if all goes smoothly over the next couple of weeks and the variants don't get crazy up here or anything, that festival will be September 10th and 11th, which is a Friday and Saturday in the South Lake Union area. It's called Lake Union Park at Mohai. We will have the formal announcement on that. Probably second week of July, and tickets will go on sale. We're just obviously working through lots of details on post-COVID logistics and safety measures and all those things. But I'd say it's 90% plus it's going to come through. So follow us at Cider Summit, and of course follow at Cidercraft Mag. And what else? Did we miss anything, Kristen?
I don't know. Okay, so wait, we do have one question. Are there going to be kits for people who can't go?
Oh, yes. Thank you for bringing it up, because that's going to be a brand new feature. So we are going to work with Preston Press to put together a couple collections. So if people can't make it, they will be able to order kits for shipment around the country through Preston Press. So thank you for that question. I meant to mention that. So we'll see how it'll be virtual. Not in the same format. What we're tentatively planning to do is have live cider maker interviews on site during the festival. So we'll post, if it comes together as planned, we'll post a schedule, and we might do, 1 or 2 per hour, just, 10, 15-minute chats live from the event. So you'll get some of the event energy from it as well.
It sounds like people want to always have this virtual option, it seems. So that's pretty cool. I mean, maybe it's just an added bonus, for the people that can't attend in person. So
yeah, no, I think that's been one of the silver linings of all this is we've been able to do this with kind of a national audience. And, we would have loved to have been doing the festival and hanging out with all of you in person, but it means a lot to both of us that you join us and participate in this.
For sure.
It's been really, obviously it's been a strange year plus for all of us, but it was in fact Cider Summit Portland last year was our first festival kits to go and first virtual event that we did. And so, hopefully we'll be back to live festivals plus virtual events and kits around the country. That would be great. We are going to do a closing song unless you have any other comments, Kristen, and then we can come back, and I don't think we're going to hang out like forever, but we can hang out after for a few minutes and
I
get some
just think,
comments.
I mean, again, people are just loving to be able to have this virtual option, you know, and so I think that's great because, like, yeah, there's not going to be someone in New Mexico would love to keep a virtual option because I don't think they have a lot of cider festivals in New Mexico. So,
And after, you know, right, and we figured out how to have a little fun doing this.
Yeah, for sure.
now that the technology's working a little better, and
totally.
Fun.
All right, you guys. Well, let's sign off with another song from Pink Martini, and we've had a blast. I've had a blast. I mean, I've had a good time. So, and I'm just by myself staring at myself at a screen. So, I hope you guys have all had a really good time.
We'll hang out for just a few minutes after if you have any other questions we didn't get to.
All right.
Let's hit it.
Thanks.
Here's the little song. It's full of hope and optimism. It's called Hang On Little Tomato.
Ready to move? Pay a low 1% listing fee when you buy and sell with Redfin. You can...
It's based on an advertisement for Hunt's Ketchup from an October 16th, 1964 issue of Life magazine. Yes, there's this little green tomato clinging to the vine, and the narrator says, "Hang on, little tomato. Stay on the vine until you're fat and juicy. Then we will pluck you and boil you in secret bubbling spices, turn you into ketchup, and if you're lucky, some smart hamburger may then team up with you." So this is a song of hope.
The sun has left and forgotten me. It's dark, I cannot see. Why does this rain pour down? I'm gonna drown in a sea of deep confusion. Somebody told me, I don't know who. Whenever you are sad and blue, and you're feeling all alone and left behind, well, take a look inside and you will find you gotta hold on through the night, hang on, things will be alright, even when it's dark, and not a bit of sparkling sunshine from above, spreading rays of sunny love, just hang on to the vine, stay on, soon you'll be divine. If you start to cry, look up to the sky, something's coming up ahead to turn your tears to dew instead. And so I hold on to this advice, when change is hard and not so nice, if you listen to your heart the whole night through, your sunny someday will come one day soon too.
turned on my lights. It got a little dark in here.
Did you sneak out to the lake for a minute there?
No, not yet. I would not be looking like this if I did. So well, that was fun. Well, let's see. I think everybody's just thanking us. You guys are so nice. Thank you so much for joining us. I think this was really fun, and it's still hot in here. My gosh, it's just so hot.
I think we could probably sign off. Thanks everyone for joining us.
Guys.
Appreciate it. Have a good evening.
All right.
Good night,
Enjoy your
Kristen.
night. Enjoy your weekend, guys.
Talk soon. See ya.